What I've learned as I've gotten older is you don't need a ton of ingredients to make something taste good. So today I'm going to show you how I make my red beans and rice. This is the ingredients I'll be using today. I went ahead and got my onions already chopped. I'm going to be using Tony Chachere's, and here you can see this is my favorite smoked sausage. And if you look on the package, you can see it says certified Cajun. And of course we have Camelia Red Beans. These are the best. This is a pound. And this rice on the side. I'm using long grain, but I usually use medium grain. And this rice is from Crowley. It's a really good brand. I like it so far. And the onions don't have as much garlic as I would like, so I'm going to chop a little bit of garlic. So I start by sorting my beans, and this, I just want to make sure there's no weird looking beans in there or any rocks. And if there are, I just pull them out. And so I am going to soak the beans for a while. I don't have a ton of time. So I'm going to go ahead and cover it with water. And I usually cover it to where there's about 2 to 3 inches of water over the beans because they're going to soak it up. And I have about 2.5 hours to soak these beans, but if you have more time than that, I would definitely recommend soaking them longer because it just helps them cook evenly. And so here is our beans 2.5 hours later. And so they have soaked up quite a bit of the water, as you can see. And I'm going to go ahead and dump this water out and give them a little rinse before I throw them in the pot. So the secret to my beans, it's not really a secret, is I use a lot of oil. I know the sausage has fat, but I like my beans to be creamy. And I noticed that when I use about 1/4 cup of oil to cook, to render some of the fat out of the sausage, it helps the beans to be creamy. And so I'm going to go ahead and add my sausage to the oil. And the beginning part of this doesn't really take that long because the beans are going to be cooking so long that you really don't need to cook all this stuff but for a few minutes. So kind of stirring the sausage to get it coated with the oil. And I'm adding my onions. I added about half of the container of onions, and I chopped about 4 cloves of garlic. And I'm going to add that in a second. So I'm just stirring it to coat the onions with the oil. And here I'm adding my chopped garlic. And so I cooked the onions, sausage, and garlic for about 5 minutes or so. And I do add seasoning before the beans. So I'm adding Tony's, and I'm not adding a lot because as I've gotten older, I want to taste my food. I know Cajun food is typically pretty spicy, but I like to taste the beans, not pepper. But you do what you want. So I'm adding the beans, and I'm going to go ahead and add about 1.5 quarts of water to this, but I'm going to be adding water throughout the time that it's cooking. So I'm adding about 1.5 quarts to start, just so I can watch it as it cooks. So now all you do is lower the temperature, maybe to medium, and you just cook it low and slow. So here is the beans after an hour of cooking, and you can see that there's barely any liquid in there. So I know I have to add more water. And you want to add more water when that happens because I know the beans aren't cooked yet. and I need water to help them cook because I don't want them to be hard. So we're adding a little bit more water, and here is after about 2 hours. And you can see I always know my beans are almost done when it looks like bubbly mud. I know that sounds gross, but it just kind of has this bean gravy, bubbly bean gravy, which is what you want, I promise you. You see that? That's what you want. Look how creamy that is. And so you can see there's still whole beans also. So I can tell that we're not quite there, but we're almost there. So I'm just gonna let it cook a little bit longer. I went ahead and got my rice done. And so we're gonna go ahead and serve us a bowl in a second. So this is our finished pot of red beans, and you can see they're super creamy. And it's like bean gravy over rice. Beans, gravy, and rice with sausage. So good. And so if you like creamier beans, or if this looks good to you, go ahead and give it a try and let me know what you think. So thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoy.